Hi, and welcome to Acting is Everything. And today we're going to be talking all about commercials and voiceovers. So, which is still, well, commercials, there's voiceovers in commercials and in all other areas. And we have with us one of the top casting directors in the field, Terry Berland.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being with me. And she has written the book, Breaking Into Commercials, the complete guide to marketing yourself, auditioning to win, and getting the job. So we're going to be talking about on-camera commercials, and then we're going to talk about voiceovers and commercials in all the fields, and also animation. So we have a lot to jam in. So you have a very big career. Who are some of the big celebs that you've cast in pieces?
Well, in the past, my background is Madison Avenue advertising agencies. I grew up in it. So 25 years ago, all the people who started out doing commercials and became celebrities, I mean, Kevin Bacon and Ted Danson and Jason Alexander and just goes on, and Sigourney Weaver. I mean, I could go on and on.
Right.
John Goodman,
Oh
Morgan Freeman. I could go on.
And Jason Alexander, who you all know I'm partial to because I coached on Seinfeld, wrote a great introduction to in the book.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such great information for every actor beyond studying just great philosophy. And Terry has taught commercials and such in over 50 cities in the United States, and she goes once a year. They try to get you down there in Florida.
I do. I go there once a year.
Yeah, Actors Info booth. Yeah, it's tough to get you out of Los Angeles, I know.
I go there, and I go to New York City.
And you do teach workshops here occasionally.
I teach, actually on a 6-week basis all year round.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Every 6 weeks.
Oh, great. And so when people come and start to study commercials, what attracts them to it, and what's the hardest thing to learn off the bat?
Well, different things attract different people. Some people are out there auditioning already, and they want to sharpen up, like they're getting callbacks and they're not booking. So we want to work out all the kinks so they don't waste energy worrying about that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Other people just always wanted to do this, and commercials are easier to start out in than theatrical, television, or film.
You had, I was reading something here about you can get 3,000 headshots or resume. I guess you get them over the internet now.
Yes.
For roles, and maybe see 275 non-speaking parts for roles for a single commercial.
Right.
And how does that person stand out before they get to the audition, and how do they stand out when they're at the audition?
It's not unusual. We do it all over the internet now. There's it's a controlled environment of internet submissions, breakdown and submissions. And the good thing now is we have a choice. Besides just putting it out to agents, we can put it out to the public who belong to this service. So I'll put it out directly to actors if I'm looking for something unusual, or if it's non-union where I need to cast the net further out than agents. And yeah, I mean, if it's a good running commercial, even if it's not now, and if I have 7 characters or 10 characters and they're looking for every ethnicity, which they usually do now, that's very popular, multi-ethnic, I can easily get 1,000, 1,200 per character. So sometimes I have over 4,000 to look at.
Oh my God.
They're little thumbnail prints, which is actually why color came into vogue about 5 years ago when our internet casting started in Los Angeles. The actors very quickly, within a week, discovered, well, if my picture's in color, it will stand out. Not that it will pop out more, but because we're looking at this screen of about 25 per page, it's very flat if it's black and white against the computer screen.
Oh, yeah.
So if it's in color, it's more than one-dimensional. So, I mean, my eye is very trained, and I look for personality in the picture. The picture is, the most important marketing tool for an actor.
Well, and you go into a lot of that.
Yeah.
What is, I mean, we always hear you have to have the right picture.
Yeah.
Well, how does an actor know what is the right picture, and how do you get your personality in it?
It's subtle, first of all. It's not like, it's old-fashioned, old school to, be anything. It's very subtle. It has to show in the eyes. The first thing, my eye meets the eyes of the actor in the photograph. So I see things in the eyes, and then a slight attitude is important. Slight attitude in the smile or the smirk.
So you mean like the attitude, like as if they're saying something?
Oh, it's internal, edgy, sarcastic, fun. Commercials are usually a little fun. So just a little attitude. And it's hard. An actor has to get to know themselves. And like, I'll have people come to my workshop and they don't have a picture yet and they're just starting. And I'll say, start knowing yourself first. Let's work with you in front of the camera for a couple of weeks, and I'll point out attitudes. You'll see what I mean by attitudes. And then you want to help your photographer capture that attitude. I mean, a good photographer can make you look really good, but you need to know your own attitude also to help the photographer.
Right, a photographer that you're just going in a meeting for the first time and starting to shoot pictures, they may not know. You may feel shy and not really give out the good part of your personality, or you're so busy trying to look good or something.
Or they can get something out of you, but can you live up to that?
Yeah.
I mean, especially theatrical, I've seen people where they have these, theatrical is more dramatic and dark, yes. And they have this really dark, intense look, and they can't do that. So, your picture, which brings up another point, your picture must represent you. Like, you can't have an old picture. People have more of a challenge when they can wear their hair curly and straight, or men with beards, no beard, then it's glasses, no glasses. So there's a lot of decisions to make.
So do you need to have each of those pictures?
Yeah, it's good to have 5 or 6 pictures with little different attitudes or looks, which is very different when I'm not looking to see you with a hose, hosing down your car, or barbecuing, I don't mean different pictures like that.
No. Speaking of holding a hose, and that you're only looking at a tiny thumbnail, how close should the shot be that you use?
It varies. I mean, some are close and some are 3/4, which get you about mid-thigh.
But
and that's
isn't it
kind
very
of nice.
hard to...
It works.
It does.
We can do that. A very popular thing now is that on this internet service, you can put a little clip of a demo reel. And the actors who have that on their, we see the picture, and then it indicates whether you have a demo reel, and we can click on it. And those actors really have an advantage.
They do.
Yes.
Oh, good. I
So
like to
that's
hear
a
that.
very good thing
Now,
to
would
do.
it have to be a commercial reel?
No, not
so
at all.
just any little acting reel, a
It's
minute
better
long?
to
or-
put theatrical if the person has you want to put good on there. Like if you have good theatrical, you want to put that on there. Because, you know, theatrical, they won't necessarily want to see a commercial.
Right.
But if your commercial work is better than your theatrical work, put your theatrical, put your
Good
commercial on.
commercial.
You want to put your best on there.
Best.
You know, you have like a minute with us, if that long. So you want to, and it's really competitive, so you want to put your best.
So you're not looking in that reel for the story that they're telling. You're looking.
You're right.
Are you looking for the other characters in the scene? Or?
No, in fact, that's a really good point. You want to start out with yourself. If it's a two-person scene and you don't want the other person starting out for a while and for us to have to sit there and wait for you, or even wonder if it's two women, wonder if it's you. In fact, that brings up another good point. If you have scenes, if you're a woman and you have scenes with a man and you have scenes with a woman, it's probably best to pick the scene with a man, so it's pretty clear who you are.
Yeah, right. Well, as the picture is so important for commercials and on camera, then where does voiceover come in, and how does that work? I don't know that much about voiceovers, so.
I just have to backtrack.
Okay,
Your
sure.
resume is important too.
Oh,
for a
yes. Oh,
commercial.
good. Tell me that.
Because that's my pet peeve. Some people don't put a resume on their 8x10 when they come in and bring it to us. And I'll say, I look and I say, where's your resume? And they say, oh, it's just a commercial. Or they know it's just a look. And I think that's disrespectful to themselves as an actor and to us as a casting director, because I'll look quickly to see who you are and what you're doing. So voiceover.
Well, so on the resume, that's really important point.
Really
I'm so glad that
important.
you brought that up. That I didn't know that actors wouldn't bring that in. I thought it's always your picture and resume.
So would
But
I.
yeah. So do you look for training on there? Do you look for independent films, or what is it that then attracts you about that resume?
It depends again. If I'm casting something with humor, I'll look for anything comedic that you've done. I'll look for television, definitely training. Improv is so important no matter what, because improv, you know, you can think fast on your feet, and commercials are a very fast medium, so improv I work on. Special skills, if we're looking for a special skill, definitely your special skills. And training, I look to see who you've trained with and if you're training.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah.
So now the voiceovers.
Okay. So actors who are savvy want to do voiceovers. They want to get into it. It's really good money. Doesn't matter what you look like. If you book it, it's 2 hours in a studio and you're off to do audition for the rest of the day. Or if you're a successful voiceover person, you could record 6, 7 things in a day, you know, go from one to another.
Are the residuals the same
Yes,
on voiceover?
same residuals.
So it's a SAG.
It's SAG.
Except if it's not union, it's SAG.
Or radio is AFTRA.
AFTRA, I see.
And you definitely receive residuals. And it takes acting to do voiceovers. It takes a good actor. And, you know, you have to, just like you're acting, you have to know what their, what the ad's all about, what the end result is, and you have to be able to take direction, make your own choices and take direction. So it's not you have a good voice. And there's so many different kinds of voiceovers. You know, there's the announcers, there's the promo, there's the radio comedy, there's a non-announcer.
What is the in your book? You were talking about the non-regional. If your voice sounds non-regional, you're eligible for any and all non-regional. So what does that mean?
Well, if the spot is a national commercial, not geared towards New York or like me, my New York accent, or the South or Boston or whatever. If you have an accent, it puts you in a specific niche. So you want to sound non-regional. You want to sound like you could come any place, from anywhere.
So if someone is watching this in a part of the country or wherever they live and they have an accent, people tell them it would be very important to. Do you have any hints or clues how to do that?
Well, you can go to certain coaches for that. However, I get people who study with me and who do have regional accents, and they're so concerned about getting rid of covering up their accent that it's getting in the way of their acting. So my advice is, in the beginning anyway, just concentrate on your acting, be the best actor you can be. And sometimes the accent actually will help you. And then you can work on your accent after, but don't let that get in the way of the core and the depth of your acting, to be concerned about that.
So after you've decided that you want to do voiceovers and you've taken some classes and such, how do you market yourself? I'm assuming you have to have a demo reel, a CD, or
yeah, they're demo CDs. They're less than a minute. Someone like myself can tell immediately if we're interested in listening further. And we're not interested in listening further if we can tell if there's like a weakness in your execution of your choices.
What does that mean?
I know.
Execution of your choices, what does that mean?
You don't sound connected. You don't sound like you're talking to anyone. You don't sound, if it's authority, you don't sound like you have authority. If it's delight, you don't sound like you have delight. You're delightful. It's just words. And we can tell that immediately. So that's the first thing. And then your demo has to, not everyone does a lot of voices, and it's not different voices, and it's not important. What's important is in your demo is to show variations on the theme. One spot could be warm, one spot and friendly, another spot could be more authoritative, another spot could be more fun. You want to vary the spots that you do, and they must sound real. You have to go to someone who really knows what they're doing, and there has to be music behind it, and it has to move along quickly and be seamless.
It has to be a professional.
Yeah,
I mean, you have to have a professional.
Someone like myself, I can bring in 50 people a day for a voiceover session. Thousands of people, I get submissions. I go through agents for that, or I find them for my on-camera casting, which I'm doing right now. I'm doing searches for real-sounding people, workers, who were helped in disasters, firemen, construction workers. I don't want to say the product because we haven't cast it yet. So what I do is I put that out through Breakdown, and then I pre-screen the voices to hear what they sound like.
How do you pre-screen? Do they send tapes, or is it online?
No, I have them call my office in the evening. And
you do?
Yeah, and they leave 5 sentences. In this case, it's 5 sentences about themselves before they're acting, besides their acting, what else they've done for survival jobs. And I picked people's whose resumes or the agents put a note that they are or have been firemen, paramedics, construction workers, truck drivers, and I just listen to them speak.
Oh my gosh.
And then I'll call them in.
Wow.
Yeah. So I can see 50 people in a day. So it's very, very, very competitive. So someone like myself, I'm going to bring in who I feel are going to come through for me. So you have to be really, really good. And it's not impossible. People say they think it's just impossible to get into voiceovers. Every year I start people, quite a number of people, not tons of people, but quite a lot of people in voiceovers. And they come from my on-camera casting. So they're already good actors.
And you were saying that you have people cataloged in your computer by the voice. So would you have their whole demo reel or just a little section of, like if they're warm on one thing and raspy on another? Would you have, how can you possibly do that?
Everyone, has their own system. What I do is I keep a copy. I keep a CD of all my auditions. And then I'll categorize it, for instance, for T-Mobile the other day. I was looking for, it was a radio spot, and there was a customer service girl, and then this sarcastic, wry sounding guy who called up. And so I just, put the date in my computer and what I did, and customer service type perky women. Dry, wry, wit, comedic guys, and the date. And so I can go back through my archives and find anyone I need and just listen.
Now, when you have people in, do you delete the ones that you don't like just right away so you don't have to keep those?
No. I will only delete someone if they're really terrible, if they do a really bad job and will make me look really bad. It's a good time to remind actors that as a casting director, we're only as good as our actors. We really need you. We need good actors. It's not about us. It's about our taste and who we bring in, but it's about the actors. So if someone's really bad, and I'll take them off. But otherwise, they're all. The dream is, and most of the time it happens because I bring in really, really good people. I'll have 50 different takes, all very different and all very good. So there's not just one way to do it.
Wow. Wow.
And then even the creative teams at the ad agency, they'll have their first choices and their second choices, and then they'll present it to the client, and the client won't like their first choice. The client will like the second choice. So there's not just one. It's all opinions. As long as you're good, it's all opinions.
Now, the main markets are in Los Angeles, New York, and Chicago.
For voiceover?
Yes.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in Texas. There's a lot going on in Atlanta. But I go, because that, we have systems now, it's called Voice Bank, and actors, I don't know how to put this so people will understand, but an actor in Los Angeles can also have an agent in Atlanta, in Texas, in Utah, and all the agents get the copy from the ad agencies, if the ad agencies choose to do it this way. And they'll send them the script, and then the agents over this thing called Voice Bank internet service will send the ad agency the actor's audition. So it's so competitive. You, as a voiceover person, are competing against the whole country. Now, ad agencies will choose to come to someone like myself as a casting director when they didn't find it this other way, or they don't have time, because they get hundreds of submissions that way. So they'll come to me, so they only hear 50, and they speak to me and talk to me, and I'll speak to the creative director and the writer, and we talk about it. So actors really like it better when they come to a casting director's office, because they're only up against 50 people rather than 350 people. But, you know, the most popular way now, because it doesn't cost the ad agencies anything, is they put it over this system where every agent can submit. And of course, when they come to a casting director, they're paying for a service, because we're saving them a lot of time. I put my SKU on it, which is why I have really great clients. I'm part of the creative process, and time is money, so I save them time, and then the actors have a better shot, actually, when they come in to me.
Right.
And, you know, we direct them very
well. I would think, you know, it's tunnel vision. You're narrowing it in instead of be so overwhelming with so many people. Now, but this is really good news for actors in all parts of the country.
It is good news. And although it's
but
daunting that the competition is so much bigger, but it's good news because more people have more of a chance.
So these people in, say, Utah would need to train.
Yes.
And still do the professional reel.
Definitely.
Now, are there locations in small towns of people doing that? I guess there is.
There are
local.
Agents. There are agents in
and
Utah.
And it seemed like you mentioned in the book something about working on a radio station and writing copy and doing.
Well, a very good way, if you're in a regional area, is to work at a radio station. And that way, these little radio stations have the people who work there do a lot of the local voiceovers and write the copy. I actually did the search for the Orville Redenbacher that's on the air now, and I had to find an Orville. And we started out in Los Angeles, and people could imitate Orville very, very well.
I want to pause just a minute because I got the wind-up sign.
Okay.
But I want to continue with the story, and we'll be talking together again soon. You'll be watching another show. And thanks for watching this one, and thanks to Terry Berland and her breaking into commercials. And see you next time. So,
we're off?
No, we're talking about, so the Orville
Redenbacher. It's playing all over the air now. They resurrected Orville. And so we had to find a voice. I had to find a voice. So I found excellent people in Los Angeles. Excellent. You know, they had to exactly imitate him. But the ad agency wanted to be more truthful to Orville, and he came from the Midwest in the